A reasonable doubt that Combs ran an enterprise to sexually exploit people through force, fraud, or coercion. That's a high bar.
And what is that burden of proof, legally speaking?
Well, the prosecution has to prove every single element of every charge. The racketeering, the coercion, the sex trafficking, beyond a reasonable doubt. It's the highest standard in U.S. law.
So the defense just needs to create that reasonable doubt about any key element.
Essentially, yes. Their strategy seems to be frame Combs's actions, even the bad ones, as private behavior, maybe immoral, maybe even illegal in other ways, but not fitting the definition of federal racketeering and sex trafficking.
The challenge for the prosecution is connecting the dots, then, between the violence or lifestyle and an actual criminal enterprise.
That's the crux of it. Showing it wasn't just isolated bad acts, but part of an organized, coercive scheme involving other people for the purpose of sex trafficking. That's the leap they need the jury to make.
Meanwhile, outside the courtroom, the public interest is just off the charts, isn't it? Lines, people trying to sell seats.
It's really quite something. That detail about someone trying to scalp a seat for $350, I mean, wow.
You hear about interest in celebrity trials like Chris Brown back in 2009, but selling seats, that feels different.
It does. It speaks volumes about the public's intense fascination, maybe even obsession, with seeing perceived justice or just witnessing the downfall of someone so famous and powerful.
And does the verdict, whatever it is, even matter for his reputation at this point? It feels like so much damage is already done.
That's a really good question. There's a feeling of, we know too much already. The tape, the allegations.
Right.
So even if he gets a not guilty verdict on these specific federal charges, public perception might remain heavily influenced by everything else that's come out. There could be a real disconnect.
Well, it's clear day one just set the stage. This is going to be a long, complex, and incredibly high-stakes trial. As we wrap up this deep dive for today, what are the absolute key takeaways?
Okay, so number one, the prosecution painting Combs as this criminal mastermind, this Jekyll and Hyde figure. Number two, the defense admitting the violence on tape but fiercely denying it meets the bar for the federal charges. Number three, that early testimony from the security guard, locking in the reality of that 2016 hotel incident. Number four, getting a glimpse of the jury, 8 men, 4 women, diverse backgrounds. And finally, the hints of legal strategy from both sides.
And huge anticipation for future witnesses, especially Cassie Ventura.
Definitely. Her potential testimony looms large.
Okay, so this is obviously just the start, and it leaves us, and you listening, with a lot to think about. Here's a final thought. Considering everything from day one, that diverse jury, the violence Combs' own lawyers admit to, how might those jurors process the really complex charges, like racketeering? Does the admitted behavior make it easier or harder to believe